What's up, y'all? It's Ashley.
I'm Fee.
It's Melody.
And Cody here. And you've tapped into
The Mama's Den.
We're all mamas, and we've got 11 kids between the four of us. And let's just say we are tired. But we're also friends who are going through this journey of motherhood together.
Each week, we are giving you some laughs, maybe some tears, sharing our personal stories, and of course, giving advice, what we hope is helpful.
This is the show we wish we had before becoming mamas.
So grandmas, aunties, sisters, uncles, daddies, brothers, everybody who's in the village of raising children, we got you.
Shall we get into it, ladies?
Let's do it.
Somebody's
Sweating.
phone is vibrating.
Somebody's phone is vibrating.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
I hear vibrations. That was you? Trying to act like, can you hear it? Like she didn't know her phone.
A Capricorn go Capricorn, okay?
Oh, word. Well, good morning.
No,
good
people
morning.
get so mad. It's not because I'm a Capricorn. It's just because I'm Ashley.
Good for you.
Wait,
Yes,
you guessed.
go gas.
Today's Amir's birthday.
Don't
Your
lift the
first
veil
baby's birthday.
of
I
magic.
know. I'm gonna cry. No.
How do you feel?
Hot? No. Hot in here. I've cried 15 times. This is the child. Oh my God.
Let
It's
it
too
out,
early.
Ashley.
No, it's
I
just
know.
my
Enough with the
baby.
stopping of the
I know.
emotional.
Because I did my makeup.
We'll do it
You
again.
gotta learn
Don't
how to
worry.
cry.
I didn't bring it with me, child.
Oh.
I just feel so blessed. Like, this is my baby. This is the child that made me a mother.
That's right.
Mhm.
And she is like my little best friend. Like, the relationship that her and I have is so amazing.
Mhm.
She's just the best kid ever. Honestly, like, we talk all the time. She gets home from school, she jumps in the car, and she literally tells me her whole day, like every single detail. Amira, it'd be long. But I'm so grateful because I'm like, I'm glad that she feels close enough to talk to me. Like, honestly, I know there's probably some things she leaves out, but she talks to me, and it makes me feel like a good mom, that she feels that connected to me. But we always say it's 3 and 3 in our house because it's like me, Chi, and Amira, we were all born on a Thursday.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know we were all born in Ohio, but the last 3 were born in California. So it's kind of
Oh,
like
wow.
Ohio
Wow.
against LA in our house. And
Aw.
she's
my
older than all of them. So
That's
low-key, it
funny.
feels like there's like 3 adults
She's
and 3
the third
children.
out. That's so
Yeah.
cute.
I would also just like to say that it's actually a beautiful thing when you feel like your child comes and is talking to you. And you've probably seen these things on social media where the parents, right now, we get so overwhelmed by our kids talking all day long
Yeah.
about like
Yeah.
the
right
most,
now with young kids.
with young
Young,
kids,
only younger
right?
children. Teenagers talk.
but it literally it is the foundation
Mhm.
of how they go through life feeling like they can come and tell you any and everything.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And I'm working on my poker face because I'm trying not to be reactive to things anymore.
Yeah.
Because I never want Cameron to feel like he cannot tell me the biggest, smallest, most
Yep.
important,
Yeah.
most severe thing
That's just true.
Yeah.
for fear or for like whatever it is. So I love that you say, she comes home and she just tells me all the things, even if she withholds some things. Because listen, she's a
Yeah.
teenager. We all withheld things as teenagers.
Yeah.
We knew what line we could cross with our mamas and which one we couldn't.
Right.
But, at the same time, like it's such a beautiful and encouraging thing to see.
Yeah.
Because I think as we in this generation have children and we continue to have children, I hope that that's becoming more of the norm.
Yeah.
That there is not this super hard division where you can't talk to your
No, I
parents
think it
anymore.
is. I think that we're being intentional. We're talking about it with each other. We're talking about it on the internets in terms of our generation.
Internets.
The
You all say
millennials
internet.
like trying to raise kids that want to talk to us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what piece reminds me of Amira so much, and I look at y'all's relationship, and it's just like I already know that you and her will be just like me and Amira because you already have that relationship with both of your children.
I
But
can feel it.
yeah, specifically her. She's so dope. She's such
My
a
little
cute
peace
kid.
bear. She's very expressive. So she shared something with my sister, and she was like, I think I'm gonna get in trouble from mommy. And so that was a moment that I was like, okay, let's like reevaluate this.
Mhm.
You can tell mommy anything. And the crazy thing, it wasn't even something that she did. It was something that somebody else did.
Of
But I
course.
think her just knowing the information, she thought that, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. But she was fine. She didn't get in
But
trouble.
also, shout out to her feeling close enough to your sister
Oh yeah.
to
Yeah.
tell her, like, that's also so dope that they had that aunt niece relationship where
Yeah.
she's like, if I can't tell my mom, at least I could tell my auntie. Like, that's
Yeah.
also dope to just have
Yeah.
a good auntie.
Listen,
Yeah.
that
100%.
my thing is I'm like, that's how I was with my nieces. My brother has 3 daughters.
Um,
And I saw obviously before I became a mom. So I was very close and instrumental in like being another parental figure to them
Yeah.
without being a parent. So I could talk to them in a different way. They would respect what I had to say in a different way. And my thing was, I was like, I don't care if you're not talking to your parents, you got to talk to somebody that has your best interest and
Yeah.
cares about you.
Yeah.
So that's
100%.
the village is important. Like
Yeah.
it's very, very
The
important.
village
Did I
is
tell
very
you guys
important.
that the other day Brooks was like, "Hey, mommy, can I tell you something?"
Mm.
And he had me lean in, and I was like, "Sure, of course, anything." You know, he had me lean in, and then he got really close to my ear, and he went.
Listen,
I was so
Childish.
first of all,
y'all, the way I was like,
Childish.
we're
I
about
love
to have
it.
a moment. What is it? What do you have to tell me? And I will never let him do that again. Now.
that's
I'm
amazing.
traumatized.
Now he broke your
That's
trust.
amazing.
Because you know when you up in the ear, it really does not feel
No,
good
it
at
hurts.
all.
It really hurts. Cameron does the same thing. And I say to him every time I make sure I say it, because he'll be like, "Mom, can I tell you something?" And then my answer is always anything.
Me too.
I always
That's why
say
I got
anything. Like
blown in my ear.
sometimes people say yeah, but I make sure I say
Yes,
anything
every time.
and I always want him to know
Of
it.
course.
Right? So then, but he'll say, "You're not gonna like it," and I was like, "Well, you don't know if I'm not." I said, "It doesn't matter if I don't like it. I still want you to tell me."
Yeah.
But this morning, so we were on FaceTime with his dad.
Oh no.
And driving him to school, and he's talking to his dad, and Jared goes, "Baby, you look so pretty today." And I was like, "Really? Thank you."
Aw.
And I was like, "My son told me that he liked my outfit. He thought it was cool." And Jared goes, "Oh, that's nice, Kim." He's like, "Yeah, her outfit is cool." He's like, "You should have seen her this morning, though, when she woke up." I said, "Excuse me, what's that supposed to mean?" I said, "What did I look like when I woke up this morning?" He said, "Crumpled paper."
Crumpled paper.
I busted out laughing. I died.
you, though.
There were two things. I was so offended and so proud at the same time. Because
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, you got jokes that are actually on brand. 'Cause
Yes.
I did look like a crumpled piece of paper this morning.
That's cute.
So I thought, I was like, oh, so when you get into it with your friends and people start like trash talking, you're going to have something to
He's
say.
gonna-
Yeah.
We're ready.
Right.
I'm
You
like,
can hold your
it
own.
was, it was
Mhm.
definitely accurate and hilarious and highly offensive. I told him, I was like, I feel so disrespected, but also I'm so proud of you.
But
He
don't
was
Yeah.
you
mad.
love that about your kids? Like when I always say age like 6, 7 is my favorite from like 7 to puberty starts, maybe like 10, 11. But it is such a, this is like when they are really stepping into like, oh, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And they're feeling themselves. I got jokes
agree,
now.
that's
And I just think about the fact that you laughed at him. It's
I
I
laughed.
laugh at my kids all the time. They run jokes on me all the time. And
Girl.
it's so honest. Like even when I like come out the room, because I'm always on them, like, please do not hug me until you brush your teeth, clean them eyes out. So they'll be talking to me and they'll be like, oh, your eyes, you got that little crust in your eye, little booger in your eye. Did you wash your face today, Mom?
Right.
They
I'm
can't
like,
wait to
nah.
get you back.
Yeah.
They like, I'm waiting.
Not
Right.
the
They
breath.
can't wait.
You definitely gonna have them kids.
Oh, girl.
Well,
can't wait.
hilariously, we about to make y'all think back to newborn times,
Oh my
okay?
gosh.
Because today
Okay.
we are going to talk about the things you wish you knew before motherhood.
This is nice. This is like a full circle moment for you, Ashley, on
It
your daughter's
really
birthday.
is.
Mm.
So then let's think back because I want to really talk about the things you wish you had known before motherhood. And in doing that, let's also remind our good friends who listen to the Mama's Den like how old all of our kids are.
Oh, yeah.
So lady with the oldest, that's
Uh-oh.
Ashley.
okay, let me go.
The oldest and the most.
Amira Lee, she's 15. Azara is 7. Asia will be 6 in a couple months. Everybody's getting older. And then
That
Atalia, she is 2. So 4 daughters, all the ages. What about you, Felicia?
Okay, so I have 2 kids. Peace is 9, and Zen just turned 5.
All right.
Crazy.
5 Club.
This is Melanie. I have 2 kids, Kaya Love, who is 2, and Cameron, who is going to be 8 on Thursday in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
Pisces gang.
Wow.
That's why he's so sweet.
I
He's
know.
so precious.
sweet.
So I have 2 5-year-olds, Aristotle and Langston.
They are twins.
And they are twins. Yes. Tommy likes to tell people that they're like project twins. Anyway,
What does Project Twins mean?
it means that
Different,
they're the same age,
but
but
they got different parents.
not.
Why is he childish?
He loves to do that.
He's from Philly.
Okay.
And then I have a
So
7-year-old. So it was 7 years since I became a mom.
7
And
whole days.
I
5
always
years
forget
since I
that,
had
Cody,
babies.
that you and Ashley and I all have children that are the same, born in the same
Yeah.
year, 2016.
I was just thinking
Girl,
this.
the other day when one of y'all was telling me Cameron's birthday was coming up, and I
Mhm.
thought Cameron was already 8.
No. Well,
And I
Cameron
was
looks
like,
15.
wait,
but
what?
I thought
Yeah.
Cam was 10. Why was I
No.
thinking he was 10?
Because
he
he's
looks
tall.
12.
Yeah.
And he just got a
And
fresh
he's
new
mature.
he got a
That's so
fresh new
funny.
haircut. Ooh.
Aw.
That
I
boy's
know.
looking so cute.
Girl, look at Azara.
Oh, Azar, listen now. We're gonna have to see how this
When
how
Cam
this
talks,
friendship
this is what she does.
how this friendship unfolds.
She in love.
Eyelashes
She-
flutter.
Yeah,
I
boy.
I told you the other day that he said this to me. He was like, Mom, when's Azara's birthday? And I was like, oh, she's a Virgo. So I was like, she's at the end of August, right?
Mhm.
And then after I go, and he goes, and what's the other one's birthday?
The other
And I
one.
was like, Asia. Meanwhile, he loves Asia, right? But I realized on that day he was very in Azara mode.
Oh, not him switch between my daughters. Ew.
Obviously, most of our listeners are moms, and everyone else is like in the motherhood, parenthood village.
Mhm.
And I just love that we are all kind of like removed from the newborn phase.
Oof.
But what do you remember? Like, what do you wish someone had told you before you became a mom?
Oh, what about you, Fee?
Mm.
You the youngest.
But
I
you guys
feel
have the
like-
youngest kids.
Yeah,
Shit.
but Felicia's the youngest mom, since she likes to point out that we're all older than her.
Not
Some
point
old-
out.
don't pay
we some
her
old
any
heads.
mind,
Not
Felicia.
point out.
just make note.
I mean, that's how you feel is not my responsibility.
That's right. I know that's
That's
right.
right.
Facts, baby girl.
What I wish somebody, we did talk about this. You're
Mhm.
right, because I'm gonna say the same answer I said last time. I wish that I leaned into help more at the beginning. I did it more with Zen, but with Peace, I thought it was with Peace, I thought it was more of like what is the word? Like not an insecurity, but
You felt like you had to prove something or like
I
take care of
think so.
everything?
I
Yeah.
feel like I needed to like I got this. I can do it on my
Yeah.
own because I
Mhm.
just didn't understand. But I think that I was operating a lot from a space of ego when I first had Peace.
Yeah.
And honestly operating a lot from insecurity of not knowing what to do, and so many people wanted to help. And I was like it was just so, all of it was new, all of it was overwhelming. So I wish I leaned into help a little bit more with her and, you know, enjoyed that time on like another level.
Yeah.
But like I said, with Zen, I was like, yup,
Pull up, please. Take him, let's go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
yeah, lean into help.
That's smart. Yeah. I think I learned it with Atalia mostly. I know for sure that everything is such an intense experience, but it's so short lived. Do you know what I mean? And it just goes by so
What
fast.
do you mean you learned it with her? That's your fourth.
I know. I think it took me until my fourth child
'Cause she's the
to
last one.
to just enjoy it. Oh,
Yeah.
I was a little bit
Mm.
older. I mean, I had Amira at 24, and everyone was like, when you have your next baby, you're not going to be the same, because I was like just super type A helicopter. I was the same way with all three of my children, all three of them.
You don't
Like,
feel like you're helicopter still?
I think that I would well, there's levels.
Mm.
I was like level 10 extreme.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I think-
God, I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, I
sis.
mean, I was the type of parent like go to the park with Amir. I went down the slide with her. Like, how some people like sit down and watch their
Girl.
kids play. No, I never did that. I'm like, I played with her, which for her
Oh,
she
no.
enjoyed like great. But this
have
is
that.
also why a lot of feelings that I have towards motherhood, where I'm like, I hate the park, da da da. That's because I did everything to the extreme. I didn't go to the park and sit down and watch my kid play. Like, I was on the swing with her. I was on the slide with her. We in the mud. Okay, I'm in the mud too. And I also was like very OCD. So like, I
Oh, we know
wiped-
you weren't in the mud. I was just about to say.
Well, no, I would wipe her hands after everything she touched.
Absolutely.
I mean, like she went down the slide, I would
I
wipe her
still do
hand.
that.
She got on the slide swing, I would wipe her hand.
All
She
four of
touched
them?
this. This is what I'm talking about with
Girl.
Amira.
With Amira. Okay.
But I was like that with Azara, yes, because they were 7 years apart. So at this point, it's like Amira was already trained to like wipe her hands. Da, da, da. She just wasn't, and so I could do that with Azara. And if-
hands all raw.
Yeah.
Stressed. Stressing that baby out.
Do you do this with Tata?
No, oh my God, I parent her so differently. Remember, we were at Zen's birthday party, and I remember Chia was standing there talking to, I think it was Jared. He was talking to Jared, and at one point, I think he was talking to Gav, and then like Atalia was like 20 feet away from him up the hill by herself, and I was like 20 feet in the other direction, and I turned and looked at Chia, and I was like,
I actually saw this.
where's our daughter? He's like, she's over there, she's fine, I'm watching her. Now granted, I didn't just turn and be like, cool, like I watched him watch her, but the old me there's no way in the world that my child would have ever been in a distance where I couldn't immediately grab their hand. So like and I'm not saying that the way that I parented before was wrong at all, because I felt comfort in it. It's not like it stressed me out. It brought me deep comfort.
Yeah.
That was my comfort zone, to be controlling. Like that made me feel good, you know? But I also realized that a lot of that was creating anxiety for myself and my child, right? You know, like they're not feeling, they're just too codependent on me.
Yeah.
So with Atalia, I'm more relaxed. Even like staying up all night, like those things would really stress me out. And of course, it's still stressful when you're not getting any sleep. But I think I just ate it differently because I knew it's so short lived. Like, yes, I'm exhausted, but this is going to be over real quick. She's going to be moving on, growing up. Like, so I would just tell people like all of the things in the newborn stage, which is honestly the hardest physically and emotionally on you in all of the parenting zones. I would just say to remember that it just goes by so quickly. Like don't allow yourself to get swallowed up in it. Like, yes, you're exhausted, but also take a beat and be like, this is my little baby. I had a baby. Yep. However you got that baby, whether you had it, adopted it, whatever, this is my baby.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, and also remembering like the feelings. I have something else that I would add, but to add off of what you said, Ashley, is that I think the feelings that you experience, the doubts, the insecurities, the emotions, the hormones, the ups and downs, like really acknowledging that like this is all a part of it, and you have to be acknowledging what is happening. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel sad, if you feel out of control, if you feel joy, whatever it is that it's going through, yes, everything is temporary, but at the same time, there's also real emotional stuff that's happening after you have a baby. And I don't think people talk about that. And I was around a bunch of pregnant women the other day who are all about to be first-time moms, and they all asked me the same question: did you experience postpartum depression? Like, it's now a thing that people talk about in preparation for motherhood. When I had Cam 8 years ago, nobody talked to me about postpartum depression. Nobody talked to me about that. So when I didn't have the birthing experience that I was told I would just easily have because I'm a woman and everything's going to go perfectly, you're made for this, I was devastated. And I literally went into a state of shock, like crying. I put a video out on camera called "It's Time to Tell the Truth." And because being in the media, like that's actually what pushed me into the motherhood space, because I didn't see anybody talking about the real deal about motherhood. Like, okay, you have abs. I don't. Why? Like, why do I feel sad when the most important, exciting, happy thing just happened to me? Why do I feel so isolated in this process? Why do I not feel like my milk came in? Nobody told me my milk wasn't going to come in right away, and emergency C-section. Like, nobody said those things. So just to add off of what you said, in that process of things being temporary, also being very present to acknowledge and speaking up on how you feel is really, really important.
No, I think Felicia has done a good job of that, of sharing her like birthing experience. I remember like season 1, I think you talked a lot about like your postpartum depression. Just super important, because I did not have those experiences. So I think it's good that, number one, we have this platform and the Mama's Den, but we've all had different birthing experiences for sure. And I think for both of you, Felicia and Melanie, like it's important that you share that, as well as Cody. Like Cody had a C-section and she had a vaginal birth, you know. I had I had 4 vaginal births and I didn't use any medication. So that's very different than everyone's. And my milk came in plentiful.
What do I wish I had known before becoming a mom?
Yes, Cody.
Way to pick it right back up.
I mean, the reality is, I was a heavy researcher and preparer of motherhood. So I'm trying to think about like what I wish I had known. I mean, from the standpoint of watching documentaries on midwives, which I was only exposed to because I worked with someone who produced a documentary on midwives. Otherwise, I would not have known or understood. And that was what?
You are so funny.
Why?
I was like, wait, where do we go? Okay, carry on.
No, I mean, what do you mean? What did I do?
I'm like,
keep talking.
Nothing. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. No, so I mean, like I was like a heavy researcher. What do I wish I had known? Dang. I was very much someone who just prepared for everything and expected the worst.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I expected from the very bad to like just getting peed on every day. I expected the worst. So everything that went well or like halfway positive was like, yay, a win. This is doable. I can do it. And so, well, honestly, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I forgot what the question was, but my feeling on parenthood, motherhood is to know that it's going to be all the things. It's going to be
Mm.
all the highs and all the lows.
That's true.
It's really kind of what you said, Melanie, about acknowledging and being present for whatever it is,
Mhm.
and knowing that it's also a moment in time. It's a moment in time that you can get support and help with, or that you can, to the best of your ability, let pass. But know that it's a moment in time. It's going to
Yeah.
keep on changing.
Yes.
That is real.
Don't ever get too comfortable. 'Cause
Don't you?
As soon
Yeah.
as you get comfortable in one season of motherhood, it changes, especially with newborns.
Mhm.
Right.
They're changing it's the fastest they're changing in their whole lives. So that's a thing that you feel like, okay, we finally got sleep down, and then all of a sudden, a sleep
Yeah.
regression gonna come up, then teething's gonna happen, then
Girl.
solid foods,
And
then,
it's a microcosm of the rest of
Of
it,
the
because
rest
it might
of
be
it.
happening every 3 months,
Girl.
but then it happens like every year
Year.
or 2 years or whatever. It's like a new season of motherhood and what you have to prepare for.
yes,
You know what I thought
Mm.
about the other day? That kind of goes with this, but kind of doesn't, but whatever. I think that this is with me now raising a teenager and having 4 children, and they're all the ages and doing all the things,
All the ages.
all the ages. I would say to people, think about when you're thinking about having children, think about raising them, because I can say for myself, I think Chi and I were a little obsessed with having babies. Right?
Mm.
Oh, I want a
Mm,
baby.
mm.
I want a baby. I love babies.
Talked
Babies.
about
Babies.
this.
All the babies. Because our
Mhm.
babies are so cute and yummy and nom 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 nom.
Yes, they are.
And I don't think, myself included, that we sometimes sit down and logistically think about the fact that they will be babies for a year.
Mhm.
And that's it. And now you have to raise whole human beings
Mhm.
and all that that means. And so I would challenge people to not have a lot of children, because
Ooh.
no, honestly, I really was thinking about this. I think 2 is the perfect number. I really do, because obviously you have 3, I have 4. You may potentially have another one day if you want to.
Not me, I'm done.
Well,
Two.
we know, girl.
We're gonna
You thought you was
let
good
the
at one.
record show on every episode.
Melanie is perfect with her perfect 2
With her
kids.
perfect 2
Boy
kids.
and
A boy and a girl.
done.
You and
One of
Nalo.
one and 2 and done. We out.
No, but honestly, it is so hard to be the caliber of mother that we all are to 4 children.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly look at Felicia all the time and I'm like, man, she got it right. Like, because both of her kids are a little bit older too. Like, you have 2, but her children are older than
Mhm,
yours,
mhm.
Melanie. And I'll just look at her and she's skateboarding with them. And
Yeah.
sometimes I get envious, because that is how I was with Amira.
Mhm.
And that how I was with Amira and Azara. But once Asia came along, I just started getting so tired that now I'm back in that space, but there are moments that I miss that, sure, they'll forget about. They don't even know, but I
Yeah.
will remember,
Yeah.
right? Because I was too tired to be involved. And that just comes with, and you have to honor that. If you're having a baby, you're going to be tired. If you're breastfeeding a baby, you're going to be tired. You cannot show up for the other children. So
In the
I would
same
just
way.
challenge people to think about that. Think
Yeah.
about the fact that you belong to these children. They don't belong to you. So
Mm.
each child wants you to be their mother. Each child is
Mhm.
going to grow up and have their own children. You're going to have to be a grandmom to those kids, or a grandfather to those kids. And I literally sit and think about, what if all of my kids just had 2 kids? And what if all of them had their kids at the same time? Because honestly, Amira could just wait until she's like 32
Mhm.
to have her first child, and the other 3 could have a baby at 23,
Late 20s,
24,
yeah.
25. And I have to show up. How am I going to go to her house and in her house and in her house and be a good? I'm like, me and Chi are going to spend our
Knowing
whole
you
life
guys will just
apart.
all live in the same house.
There we
Well,
go.
that's
The
what
compound
Azara
is in the
said.
works.
I mean, but for real. But that's like very real. I don't think people think about the longevity of motherhood is forever. You're not just a
Yeah.
mom when they're a baby. Like, they need you. Your mom is showing up for you. What if your sister had kids? She couldn't show up for you. Whatever capacity she is, it would be half. If your sister had children, if your brother had children, you know what I mean?
So that said, though, I do agree with you, generally speaking, right? Like, I don't know that 2 is the perfect number, but it could be.
Or 1.
Right? Like, sometimes, I mean, I definitely
Y'all
think
know I was
about-
one and done for a long time too.
Yes.
Let the record show.
But my feeling, or the thing I would add to it, right, to Ashley's point about just really considering how can you show up the way you want to,
Yeah.
is it requires more intentional time,
Yep.
which is, again, more time, more logistics, more like, okay, friend, can you come over and da-da-da-da, or babysitter or whatever. It requires, like, because I don't have a lot of one-on-one time with my kids at all, or 2-on-1 even,
Mm-hmm.
for various reasons, most of which, as soon as I do it, they complain, and it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
And so, but I wish I did. But it is within my control to make those to just think about the logistics, to just literally say, oh, Saturday's coming up, let me ask such and such if they'll come take Brooks while I go do this. But it does require that.
Yeah.
And
And
so-
then how are you going to work? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
if
no,
you
I
going
do.
to show that is the thing. Being a good parent is literally a 24-hour job.
Mhm.
Then you want to add, you want a career, you want your own life. Oh, you want to be a wife? Your husband wants you to have sex with him. When am I doing all of this? How? Do you know what I mean? It's something is always going to fall short. And then you
Yeah.
have to make the decision of what do you want
What
that
is
to
it?
be. But then do you even feel good? Because no, we don't feel good when we don't show up for our children. We also don't feel good when we don't show up for ourselves. And then our
Yeah.
husbands don't feel good when we don't show up for them.
And then nobody feels good when we don't show up for ourselves. Let's be
Girl.
clear, because that's where it all
Yeah.
starts.
And let's be
Yeah.
clear, sex is not just for our husbands, for us. Like, I want to have sex too. You know what I mean? I don't always want to just show up half Ashley and turn to the side or toot it out in the back. Maybe I would get on top.
Toot it.
Toot
I
it
would
in
just
the
like to
back.
say
Toot it,
that
toot it.
the things that Ashley has said and done in this episode is going to be the clips. It's going to be the clips. She
We should
dropped
just do
She
one,
dropped extreme
super
gems
cut,
and
super cut.
full comedy at the same time.
Listen, I'm being serious though. Like, I'm going back to Felicia. I look at her stories and I'm like, she kind of got it right, because that I see so much of myself in you all the time. And I know you're like, I want another baby. And I'm like, girl, wait until those kids are teenagers, or do it when you're
Mhm.
40. Maybe you need to have a 40-year-old baby, because then you can just be the mom that you are. Because I already know you. You're going to want to be the mom that you are now to that other baby.
Yeah.
And I think you definitely should wait till like Zen is like 10 so that
Yeah.
you can.
No, I would wait a while.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, this is an idea for me to have a third child, but I'm not pressed. It would really have to be like on the person that I'm with.
yeah.
But I definitely feel like co-parenting and having like taking shifts with the kids is what allows me to show up in that space for sure.
That's real.
Yeah.
But also, you, even in talking about like the potential of having another kid, you would probably be a completely different mom,
Oh, wow.
For sure.
right? Like,
Yeah.
my children are 6 years apart, and I am a completely different mother
Yeah.
to both of my children.
True.
Like, I'm the same woman, I'm the same mom, there's the same foundation, but like how I parent them is so different
Mm-hmm.
because one, they're two completely different. Like, I mean, two completely different children. Like, they couldn't be more different.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I also am just like, it's fine. It's all gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, this one day of Kaya watching Elmo for 2 hours is going to be fine. It's
Mhm.
not going to do with Cameron. It was like, limit the screen time. Don't let him. Blah, 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 blah. And that child is when I tell you, if Cameron could live in a television, he would if we would let him.
Brooks is the same, and he had the least screen
That's
time.
why.
Listen,
But
That's
Brooks
why.
is like, and he loves books. He'll read 100 books in
So-
a row and watch
so-
100 hours
And
of
make
television.
1,000
Cameron
Lego
let him.
figurines.
And you
Yes.
know what though? Does he get like deeply invested in the stories? And he's
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, also his parents are filmmakers, so this is a thing as well. But you know, like it's a thing, and you just know that there's so many variables that come with each child and who
Yeah.
you are. Like,
Yeah.
I had a newborn at 40. What?
Yeah.
What are you telling me? You could have never written that in any sort of journal entry, and I'd have been like, "You'll be there, girl." I'd have looked like, "Girl, you crazy? We ain't never having no baby at 40. 40 years old, I had a newborn. Never thought it was gonna happen, and a daughter at that." So it just but the way I parent her is just like, all right, sis, we cool. Like, what did you eat today off the ground? I don't know what it is, but we'll find out if we need to go to the emergency later. Like,
Yep.
she really is. I'm just a different mom
Yep.
with
Yeah.
her.
Felicia,
Our baby
what's
number
the
2.
age difference between your kids again?
4 years.
How different are you with them? Or do you feel like you're different? Do you parent them differently, or?
I feel like I'm definitely a little more like the easygoing part, that it's like, okay, it's not a big deal. But I think it's what I do with both of them now. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not one way with peace and then one way with zen. Once I realize, oh, eating something off the ground, you'll be fine. Or
Right.
eating dirt.
Yep.
It's like, well, both of y'all get the pass, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But it definitely makes you be like, yeah, no. I don't know. It's like there's so many other things to think about and consider. But I think that's my perspective in life right now overall, is like, everything is going to be okay.
Yes.
Like, I've been operating from that space a lot lately, of like releasing expectation of how I feel something is supposed to turn out, or
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm always taken care of. I'm always good. So like, why not lean into that blessing, you know? But
That's beautiful.
yeah, I'm like, I think it's overall, I'm like, we'll be fine. Come on.
Come on,
It could
let's go
be
get
with
ice cream on our
age. Yep.
skateboards. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I'm
could
like,
be
come
with
on.
age too. I
Well,
feel like
that's what I was
yeah.
just about to say. Like when you
Mhm.
had your kids, you were younger in your 20s. So by the time if you were to have kids when Zen was a little bit older, you'd be closer to 40. And so I would definitely say who I am at 40 is even different than who I was at 32 when I had Cam.
Yeah.
So, it's really like, oh, okay, like I'm a different person. So that's why I think I also two parent differently.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
So, it's you change. Like you change as a person. You're allowed to do that. My mom says it all the time. Like my mom she was a yeller at us as kids. And she will always say, the one thing I wish I never did was yell at you guys.
Yeah.
She didn't have that perspective till we got older.
Yeah.
But when she was in it, she was firing up,
Yeah.
So it just be like that. It's like you just change, you just grow.
Yeah.
But that's good
And
advice.
you learn.
Stress.
That's good advice for new parents. Just think of all the things that you hear us saying, that you ask your parents, like, what's one thing you would do differently?
Yes.
That way you can kind of go into it knowing, like, if your parent is telling you they wish they never yelled, then yell a little less and know that, like, in retrospect, whatever you're upset about is probably not that big of a deal. Unless they, like, set your house on fire or something, then, like,
Yeah.
But even then, what are you going to do? It's already in flames.
Right. I feel like
No,
that
for real,
self-talk is so
I was like, no,
important.
Cody, for real.
No, that's Cody's attitude. She'd be like, well, yeah, well,
What are you
we're
gonna
here
do?
now.
What are you gonna do?
Oh Lord.
It's something that I would encourage new moms to consider, and if you're into it, is chiropractic treatment for yourself and your baby. Now, I'm not a doctor. You have to talk to your doctor. You have to know what those things are. But chiropractic treatment for pregnant women can be so beneficial as far as how your body is adjusted. Now, they're not doing any violent cracks or anything like that, if that's because I'm terrified of the chiropractor. So for me to bring this up means to tell you I know the benefits of it. But if you think about the babies, they're cramped up in there. They're like squished in. They got to come through the canal, or they have to be, through surgery. And there's just certain things, pressure points on a new baby that can really help a baby relax, help with digestion. And that's something that like was completely foreign to having Cameron. And I saw the relief it brought Cameron when he had one chiropractic treatment with like a pediatric chiropractor. And then when I was pregnant, I went through my pregnancy with Kaya, and I had a couple sessions with Kaya after she was born, and it really made a huge difference. So I would say to any new mamas out there, your body is changing, your body's expanding, have grace with yourself, but also look into whatever resources are I said it, resources
time.
are available to you that you might be interested, that bring healing and relief to you, mentally, physically, spiritually.
Okay, question of the week. Who's got it?
So we're going to do a question of the week. It says, help, my teenage daughter is driving me crazy with her attitude. Any advice? Ashley.
go ahead.
Don't yell. Ashley, since you have a teenage daughter.
Okay,
who
I'll make it
is
quick.
15 today.
With her attitude, I would say two things. Number one, talk to your daughter and see if you can figure out what is causing the attitude. And remember, if you are a woman and you were once a teenager too, and all of your hormones are coming in, and a lot of times they can't help it the same way we can't help it as grown women. When we wake up and we're like, I don't know why everybody getting on my nerves today, but they are. So I would say, number one, teach your child to articulate and name their feelings, and even if, this is what I tell them here, if you wake up and you don't even know why you're mad, then tell me that. Say, I don't know why I'm mad, I'm just mad, so that we can all kind of adjust around you and give you space, but also like stay in your room because no one wants to deal with that. So that's what I would say. She's a person, she's a human. Everyone gets an attitude sometimes. Teaching her tools on how to deal with her attitude in a healthy way versus trying to tell her not to have an attitude, because we all gonna have a little attitude.
I love that advice. I think
Yeah.
that's great. I
Very
agree.
sound.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I love that for us.
Glad to do it.
Well, thanks, gals. If you're out there listening, then that means that you are catching us wherever you find your podcasts. And it's probably a Monday because, you must be listening the day that our show comes out. But tomorrow, Tuesday, you can check us out on YouTube. Black Love's YouTube page has new episodes of the Mama San Everything. Where else can folks find us?
One podcast.
With an S.
With S.
The Mama's Den podcast. That's on Instagram.
That's
at
on Instagram.
The Mama's Den
Never lied.
podcast.
And then if you have a question, the ladies were saying podcasts with an
With an
S
S.
at blacklove.com.